They walk in that room, they become yours. And you got this energy inside your soul that says, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt. I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to week 178 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got here this morning. We got Sharon Wright in the building, Ricardo Yanis, Mona Abamolak. Man, you're going to have to send me them phonetics one day. We got Dr. Rella Hicks, Rodney Richardson, Takesha High, Grace Castaneda, Lysandra Bracken's in the building, Marsha Poe, Terry Hodge, Principal Otis Kitchen II, Joan Bailey Matthews, Yolanda McKinney, Principal Sean Hurt. Man, he was bringing some stuff today. He asked the question, does $9 million educate a child? Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. When I saw his title on Facebook, I said, that sounds kind of intriguing. What are you talking about? And then he broke it down, man. Go back and watch that later on. You watch that, then you watch Create and Educate with the two leadership doctors, Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, and then myself now. And then Josh Tovar tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, along with Dean Packard. We got the former student in the building, Adriana Turner. I see ya. Adriana Turner, I see ya. Good to see you this morning. How you been? What you doing? We got James Presley, Dr. James Presley in the building. Michael Benton is in the building. John here. He's Michael Benton is in this AP role because he changed districts, but he was in that principal role the other day. I saw you, my brother. We got Ronald Pugh in the building, Naquinta Mays Gates in the building, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Jacqueline Harriet up there in Nova Scotia. I'm going to be with her in Nova Scotia in October. I think it's the 28th or the 29th, one of them. And then she's going to be my guest. We just confirmed it this morning during Women's History Month. That's going to be my first international guest, right? Jacqueline Harriet, she'll be in the building. We got Golf RWT, Principal Tammy Taylor. That's Dr. Tammy Taylor. You worked too hard, Tammy, for me to not say doctor. We got Principal Sherrod Laws, Dr. Demetrius Scott. Man, all y'all, I met all y'all when y'all was like masters and bachelors. And now y'all doctors, man. And I'm still masters. That's all right, man. That's all right. Because when I be rolling up in them spots, they be like, good morning, Dr. Kafele. I be like, good morning. You gonna give it to me? I'm gonna take it. See, back when I was younger, I'd be like, I don't have my doctorate. Now I'm like, good morning. Let me go, y'all. We got Nolene Martin in the building, Albert Buckles, Melissa Jones Chu. No, she gonna be a guest soon too, man, and we're gonna have a good one. Abisola Ashuntulu. Oh man, I might have messed that up, Abisola. I'm so sorry. Oh, we got the queen, man. The queen is in the building, y'all. The queen of my castle. Kimberly Broughton Kafele is in the building. We got Kobe Wilkerson. This is the Kobe. See, y'all know the other Kobe, but this the Kobe, right? This Kobe the Wiz. Wilkerson's in the building. Hey, my brother, good to see you. Although you only here because Dr. Chester's on, man. You ain't checking me out, man. You here for Doc, man. She laughing too, bro. I see her. She laugh. We got Doc McKeever Jeter, Principal Doc McKeever Jeter in the building. She's doing better too. Had a big smile on her Facebook post today. She's feeling better. Char, oh, I see you, Char Mills. Good to see you. I see you again, Adriana. You stay here for a little while too. Don't just come in here to say hello and then you dip. Stay with your former principal for a few. And tell some of the mother terriers, get on here. Let's see where we at. I'm getting ready to get it started, y'all. September, Devon Vance Daniels in the building. Jocelyn Nelson, Edwin Garcia. He out here in Jersey. Trina, where we at? Trina Kinsey. Kelly is in the building. O.C. Chapman, man, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna let y'all know my ignorance real quick, and then I'm gonna get on. I was in Mississippi on what day was I there? Thursday. Wednesday. So I ran into my man, Dr. Tommy Mabry, in the airport. So now he knew I was going to be in Mississippi. I had told him on a text, though. But I'm thinking that where I'm going is like so far across the state from Tupelo, which is where my man O.C. Chapman is from. My son keeps telling me, Baruti, he keeps saying, look at the map so you can know where you at, right? And I don't look. I just go. So I walk into the church when I did this night program, community program, and there's my man O.C. O'Nay Chapman in the building with his homie. And I'm like, I thought you lived too far. That's why I didn't call. He said, man, I'm 45 minutes from here. So I got to start looking at these maps and knowing where I'm at when I go to states that I don't know, like I know Jersey and New York City, right? So good to see you, my brother. Great to see you at the time. And I looked at a little bit of that video. I'm going to look at the rest of it later on after the Colorado game. I'm going to get started, y'all. Let me see. Morgan Conya's in the building. Donna Sherrod Gant. She's like a partner of this platform, man. She keeps the people informed. So always good to see you, Donna. Jeff Milner, I see you. Oh, that's Milner. I see you. Let me get it going, y'all. I gotta shout out one more there. I see my man Hovette Dixon, man. He came and joined me in Huntsville the other day. What day was that, Hovette? Thursday. Join me in Huntsville, Alabama, man. Great to see you. Let me see. Adriana said, I'm growing my business and taking your advice. Life has been lifing. LOL. And yeah, and Adriana, get in touch with me at some point. You know, anything you want to ask me about that entrepreneurial life, just hit me up. Hey, y'all, let me get it going, y'all. I ain't doing no more shout outs. Let me get it going. Oh, I got one more, y'all. Because it's another one. He on here for my guest. Dr. Dennis McKeezy. Now, that's my man. Don't get me wrong. From OSG, Off School Grounds, former principal at Harlem Children's Zone, where Jeffrey Canada was there, and then he took over the reins. But I don't see you every Saturday, Dennis. You here for Dr. Chester. I know what you doing. Hey, y'all, good to see you, Dennis. Let's get it started, y'all. Good morning. Greetings. Welcome to week 178 of the AP and New Principals Academy. I got a question for you. Matter of fact, I don't have a question. Let me go old school the way I used to do it. Hey, y'all, I don't know about you, but I want to speak for me for a second. I just want you to know how I feel. Despite the fact that flights were delayed all week, despite the fact I was missing connections all week, despite the fact that I drove over 10 hours this week throughout the South, despite the fact I had to do a drive yesterday morning, had to get up at 6, drive at 7 to get from wherever I was, Cincinnati, which wasn't a destination point, I might add. That's just a place I could fly to get to Columbus, Ohio. About 3 hours, worn out, speak 6 hours, right? Then the flight delayed to go home, but didn't get much sleep last night. But you know something? Let me tell you something. I want you to know how I feel. Despite that, I'm on Fire! Woo! Woo! Oh, I had to get that out of me, y'all. I had to get that out, man. See, when I get that out, when I release that, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. So let me just go through my announcements real quick, y'all, because I got the big time guests waiting. Shout out to Starkville School District. That's where Mississippi State is. Talk to the administrators all day. Talk to the community at night. Shout out to them. Shout out to Principally Speaking Network in Huntsville, Alabama. Room full of administrators. Woo! Had a good time, man. My man, I shouldn't name drop because I knew so many people in there, but my man Hovette Dixon, I gotta drop his name, man. That's my boy. So he was there. And then shout out to Buckeye Community Schools in a suburb of Columbus. They got 4 schools in 4 locations. We were in the Ontario location. This is a school started by these 2 individuals, Pete and Mary. These are 4 schools of the children that nobody wants, right? It's like a last chance opportunity. You know, students who just born with a very difficult hand, right? Born with a very challenging hand. Students with ankle bracelets, students whose parents are incarcerated, all that kind of stuff. And they doing it, man. I got to tell y'all, they doing it. It's not traditional classrooms either. Ain't no room so-and-so. They got something else going on. I got to get them on here at some point so they can talk about it with you. They doing phenomenal work. They really are, right? So shout out to them for seeing it not robbery to bring me through to spend the day with the 4 staffs in one room. First timers, welcome to all of you, because every week they're first timers, but don't let this be your last time. Those of you who come on because the guest is someone that you know or you like, you respect, you appreciate, you look up to, whatever it is, don't let it be your last, because you might find there's some more guests on here that you may be able to benefit from. And also, if it's your first time, that means you missed 177 sessions. So go to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy, and just binge watch. You're going to see a lot of people on there that you probably read their books, familiar with, and then a lot of solos with me. So just check that out. It's almost here, y'all. October 13th, the ASCD School Leadership Summit, October 12th through 13th, but the opening session is on the 13th, right? So 12 through 15, I should say. But the opening session is on the 13th, and yours truly is the opening keynote speaker. Right. So you don't want to miss that. I'm going to be bringing the thunder and the lightning with me. I'm going to be bringing the energy. I'm going to be bringing the enthusiasm. I'm going to be bringing the passion, but I'm also bringing the information. Right. So that's October 13th, Grapevine, Texas, ASCD Leadership Summit. Yours truly. I think this is the 3rd, might be the 4th time I'm keynoting this conference. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, I'm bringing the 2023 version of myself. So make sure that you are there, right? Just go to ascd.org and register, and I'll see you in the building. Bring them books so I can sign them. Bring them phones so we can take some pics. All that good stuff, man. And those of you, when I got Academy people in there, then we're gonna do our private session as I always do at the conferences. We're gonna break from the group, and we just gonna have our little talk too, right? So just make sure register, and I'll see you in Grapevine, Texas on October 13th. Real quick, y'all, I've written 14 books now, but this is the new joint. So I just want to put this on the screen real quick. The Assistant Principal Identity, Protecting Your Leadership Mindset, Fervor, and Authenticity. I won't spend time putting all the other books up, but you go to Amazon, put my name in the search, Baruti Kafele, and all my ASCD books and my self-published books, they'll show up on the thread. So just do that. And then be sure to like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. This is a 2-day ordeal every weekend. Saturday is the broadcast, the live stream, but Sunday is the written portion. That's my written commentary every Sunday. Not later than 10 o'clock, it will be posted. So make sure that you like and follow that page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, AP and New Principals Academy. Hit that share button, y'all. Hit the retweet button. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Let me say it a million times. Like. Hit the like button, because that's how we manipulate the algorithms, right? So hit that like button. Let me give you this quick monologue, and then I'm gonna bring up my guest. My monologue is real quick. There's a question that I've thrown on here many times over the years that we've been on. This is year number 4. And there's a question that I've thrown at you many times, and my audience is probably all the time when it's a leadership audience. And the question is my school a better school because I lead it? Once again, is my school a better school because I lead it? I posted that title, somebody took a picture of the screen yesterday and I posted it, and it just it made me feel I want to throw that at you again in this monologue. I want you to get that mirror, put your mirrors up, and ask yourself the question: is my school, is my team, is my department, is my division, is my district better because I lead it? See, that's critical. So in other words, I'm asking you the question: is there something about the fact that you are in that space versus someone else, right? Something about the fact that you are in that space, that there's a higher probability that those teachers that you lead, the students that you lead, the community that you lead is going to elevate. I would challenge you to ask yourself that question every day, because your answers are going to vary if you're being honest with yourself. Now, if you're faking the funk and you're letting your ego drive the response, then the answer will be yes every day. Is my school better because I lead it? Yes, 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 yes. It's great. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's extraordinary because I lead it. But if you're being honest, you're not necessarily going to get the same answer every day. And thereby, you got to develop or devise a game plan that's going to allow you to overcome whatever the struggles were the day before. So that matters, right? And then secondly, that video, that solo that I did 2 weeks ago, which was called "What is My Value to the Teachers That I Supervise Instructionally?" Man, y'all been watching that thing, man. Y'all been watching that thing. It's up to 5,800 views on YouTube. 2 weeks ago. Y'all watching that thing, man. So I'm doing part 2 December 2nd. So log that in your calendar now. Part 2, because I did 2 hours of a solo session of what is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally. I was supposed to do the whole thing in 90 minutes, but I only got halfway through in 2 hours because there was so much to say. So I got another 2 hours of content. So December 2nd, we're gonna be back on solo, and I'll deliver the second half of that. And with the number of views it has, I guess that information was invaluable, right? So real quick, I'm just going to ask you the question, even though I did it 2 weeks ago. What is your value? Yeah, you. Man, let me look at my calendar, my camera. You. I'm talking to you. What is your value to the teachers that you supervise instructionally? Here's the question that I'm not asking you. What is your value to the teachers that you supervise? Period. I didn't ask you that. I said instructionally. What is your value as it relates to teaching and learning? Not all the other facets of leadership. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm just talking about instruction. What is your value? Is there something about your leadership that the teachers are growing pedagogically, that the teachers are growing exponentially because you lead? That's the question. And that's my commentary for this morning. Let's go. Man, I got the big time guest with the big time bio. Y'all gonna see what I mean by that in a second. Let me say that again. I got the big time guest with the big time bio. You'll see what I mean by that in a second, man. I got Dr. Melissa Chester, Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester in the building. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm glad to see you. We finally got you here. We got this big time radio producer on the thread right now. He produces the Open Line in New York City, but he also produces Reverend Al Sharpton's weekly show. His name is Brother Fateen. So if you see his name there, that's Brother Fateen Muhammad. Hey,
remember,
brother,
I was on this show. Remember?
that's right, you were on. Yeah.
Because of you.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's okay. Let me yell at Fateen real quick. Hey, Fateen, you ain't watching this thing because of me. You watch it because Dr. Chester's on. I see how you getting down. All these folks, this my friends. Y'all ain't, I don't be seeing your name. You on here because Dr. Chester is on. Fateen said, man, Kafele be rolling different from how we do on open line, man. He be talking, he be like yelling at the people in the thread, right? So, good to see you, Fateen. Hey, y'all, man, we got Dr. Chester in the building, man. And you know, when she sent me her bio on, I think it was Monday, I said to myself, I said, I got to edit this thing, man. And I'm reading it, and I said, but the people, I said, we not a show. And I got to always emphasis at the people, we're not a show. So if somebody came on here, you thought you was going to watch the Baruti Kafele show? No, we ain't no show. We the AP and New Principals Academy. You see them letters on that screen? Academy. So this is meant for people to check in here and learn something and then take it back to the school. So I said, it's learning right in the bio, especially when you hear Dr. Chester's beginnings. And that's the last I'm going to say, Dr. Chester. We all refer to her as Doc, right? It's a lot of doctors out here in the world, but she's Doc, right? She could just wrote it. Hey, Doc. That's how we know her, right? It's just Doc, right? So here we go. She said, Margaret Mead, and I'm going to read fast, y'all, because it's a little long. Like, get your coffee. Don't leave. Just put it in front of you. Have a sip. Drink your tea. Let me read this bio, y'all. Margaret Mead once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester, known as Doc, is a part of the small group of thoughtful people committed to serving and impacting the lives of those in our community. She is committed to serving and impacting the lives of others by improving their situations through volunteerism, consulting, facilitation, training, motivational speaking. Her dedication and passion to assist individuals and organizations is evident in the many programs, seminars, workshops, and presentations she has implemented and participated in with local, regional, national, nonprofit organizations, school districts, colleges, universities, businesses, conferences, and conventions. Dr. Chester, fondly known as Doc, is a former college professor who taught for approximately 15 years before transitioning into entrepreneurship full-time. She attained her BS and master's degree from Florida A&M University, FAMU, in secondary physical education and sports management. She attained her PhD in sports management from Florida State University. She has taught at several universities, including Florida A&M, Florida State University, Grambling State University, Florida, University of North Florida, and online at Southern New Hampshire University. Currently touted as a success strategist and Amazon 3-time best-selling co-author, Doc has presented numerous trainings, seminars, and workshops at colleges, universities, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and K-12 districts and schools. These include, but are not limited to, the Urban League National Conference, the National Association of Black School Educators, National Conference, where we at here? I'm reading so fast. National Conference, the Working to Extend Anti-Racist Education, We Are Conference, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, National Convention, NAREB Midwinter Conference, Georgia Association of Alternative Education Conference, South Carolina State University, Communities and Schools, New York Public Schools, Leon County School District, Duval County Public Schools, and Bay County Public Schools. Topics she speaks on include flavor, personality assessment, communication and conflict resolution, poverty mindset, SEL, character development, self-esteem, mental health awareness, health and wellness, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. We get into the end, y'all. Dr. Melissa Chester is the co-founder and CEO of Black Educators Rock, a national nonprofit which boasts of over 150,000 Black educators. In the Facebook group, Black Educators Rock Incorporated has 3 areas of focus: instructional strategies and practices, professional development, and advocacy and empowerment. Black Educators Rock Incorporated's goal to further the academic success of our nation's minority students by closing the attitude gap that exists among educators and students. It accomplishes this goal through its local chapters, partnerships, collaborations with other regional, national nonprofits, and their flagship event, the Rock Conference. The Rock Conference is a summer professional development conference and hosts the most renowned education consultants and educators in the country. Lastly, Dr. Chester currently resides in Jacksonville, Florida, and is actively involved in her profession of real estate and serves locally and nationally. She serves as the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, local board president for Jacksonville, founding president and first VP for the Women's Council of the First Coast, and first VP for the Florida State Association of Realtors. Also serves on the national level as the chair of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion 2021 to 2023 and chair of the Grievance Committee. Dr. Chester is also on the executive board of the UNCF Jacksonville Leadership Council, the Greater First Coast Chamber of Commerce, a board member of the nonprofit the Center One Foundation, Georgia Association of Alternative Education, and the Florida Recovery School of Jacksonville. She is a member of the Urban Education Symposium Steering Committee and is certified instructor for the national initiative known as Adult Mental Health First Aid. She also served as the assistant program manager for the Mayor's Summer Jobs program, a program that employed hundreds of youth, and was a member of the Jacksonville Public Education Fund Community Advisory Team, served on the planning committee for Operation Save Our Sons, a nonprofit for at-risk males, and assisted former Jacksonville Jaguar Donovan Darius create and run his nonprofit organization from 2011 to 18. She is also actively involved with her sorority, the Jacksonville chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's currently the broker owner of Red Phoenix Realty LLC, and the owner and the lead instructor of Red Phoenix Real Estate School LLC, and the economic program development officer for the nonprofit LISC Jacksonville. She is the proud mommy of two sons, Aiden and Alexander. Whew. I need some water. I feel like I ran a mile.
But it's all true. Like, it's all true. It is not even all there. Like, it's all true. Like, I literally did this work. It's not an inflated resume.
Yeah, that's you've done a lot. And I want to tell the audience real quick, the family, as I call everybody on here. I want to tell you all why I read all this. This is the longest bio I've ever read. I usually will edit it a little bit, or it's not this long. But in my mind, I said, it's young people watching this, man. When I say young, I don't mean children, but I mean it's young adults watching this, young leaders watching this, young in the context of a profession of leadership. And sometimes we need to hear about other people's walk, other people's journey. Sometimes that's the inspiration. Certainly, Frank Mickens, Mick, the principal of Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York, man. That was that was my biggest inspiration as a principal. That man, a leader of 4,000 students. So I got to know his background, so a lot of times just knowing someone's background, their journey, what they've gone through, what they did, what they had to climb to get to where they are is important. So with that said, Doc, let's jump into it. As I just said, this is the most extensive bio that I've read on this platform in 178 weeks. There's a lot there. But with everything I just read and with everything you said in terms of what's not there, I got a question that doesn't necessarily speak to the bio, but speaks to you. And the question is what I ask every guest that comes on here. At the end of the day, who is Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester?
A little girl from the projects who made it, who defied the odds, who loves very, very hard, is extremely loyal, and gives until she has nothing else to give.
Gives until she has nothing else to give. There's context, Doc. Am I at liberty to discuss what you shared with me when you came on this morning?
Yes.
Hey, y'all, Dr. Chester's was informed that her father died right before we came on, not came on for you all, but came on for her, she and I to talk. So my guests come on 10 minutes early. So 10:45, she said she just got a call that her father transitioned. So I told her I have a backup plan. So, if you have to go, you can go. But she said, nah, I gotta stay. What's the word you used? normal.
Normalcy. This is
Yeah, you got to maintain normalcy and just, do what you normally would be doing. And you said that I'm coming on. I'm coming on. So I said, wow. I'm thinking to myself more thoughts than I shared with her. And I said, wow. And then everybody's sending condolences to you if you see the thread from all the different platforms. And once again, my condolence. But in terms of what you just said, it just speaks volumes that you would want to still come on and have a conversation for all these folks who tune in the morning. So I appreciate you for that. Appreciate you immensely. Doc, you stay on fire, right? You've got all this energy, this drive. There's a select group of people, and most of us are on the thread right now. Myself and Dr. Marcus Jackson and Carlos Johnson and Sean Hurt and Chika Akua and a few others, and we get to feel your wrath sometimes, right? It's all private. People don't know about that, but see, that's your passion. Like we might want to slow down or back up or even back out or switch gears and whatever, and you like nah, you be that fire, that wrath, you know what I'm saying? So in the context of that, I'm looking at what my question to you. You bring this fire, you bring this energy, you bring this drive. You don't exhibit discouragement. We all can have frustration, but frustration is not synonymous with discouragement. And I don't think any of us have ever seen discouragement from you. Even if you felt it, you didn't let us know about it. So my question to you is, in the context of leaders watching us today and leaders who will watch this later on, who are in situations where discouragement can be real, where is your drive coming from? All that's in the bio, all that you do beyond the bio, where is that coming from that may help someone else to be able to reach down somewhere and get some of that for themselves?
so great question. And it's something I always tell everyone that I speak to. I'm the common denominator. I let everybody know numerators change, but denominator stays the same, right? Like you're saying, they can have new APs, new teachers, new whatever. But at the end of the day, you're the common denominator. Because I'm the common denominator and I believe in me, like I understand who and what I am. I understand what my goals are. I understand what my purpose is. And I always stay true to who and what I am and what my purpose is. And I'm the common denominator. So I will not lose. Either I win or I learn. I never lose. And so it comes from also just understanding that I want a me on my team. I want a me on my team, and I want to be to people what I never had. I want to be the support to others because I never really had support. I want to be the motivation to others because I never had motivation. And so understanding those three things keeps me going.
You said, I want me on my team. That resonated with me so much that I literally wrote it down. I want a me on my team. And I don't know if I ever thought about that in those words for myself, but I feel the same way. I want a me on my team. But let's talk about this for a second. I've come to a conclusion that, and I don't claim to be the all-knowing superstar principal. When I was principal, I just I did me. That's a good way to put it. My former students on here, Adriana, you saw me just doing the best I could, right, with what I had. But you know something, Doc? When I'm out here training, I wish that my words would translate into them folks sitting in the room. They could do everything I say. This is what's necessary. But at the end of the day, I know that some of them, the personality just won't get them there. But I'm sitting there saying, but I'm going to use your words now. I just want to create a me, like somebody who could take that and run with it, right? So here's my question to you. Leader sitting out there. What would I do? How would I go about it creating. If I'm that principal with all that drive, all that determination, all that ambition, all that fire, all that thunder, all that excitement, all that energy, all that passion, how can I go about creating another me on my team?
That's a great question. I think, and it's so funny. I was just doing a training the other day in Baltimore, and I was telling them that there is not another you. That's the phenomenal thing. There's not another me. And so even though I want a me on my team, I know there's only one me. And so I constantly tell people, you got to be the best you. You can't try to duplicate and replicate who I am and what I am. You have to be you. And you have to, again, I think the problem is people don't own who they are and what they are. Like, own who you are and what you are. And as a leader, understand personalities. Like you were saying about some people's personalities will not get them there. And that's why we'll talk about it later, but that's why I love Flavor, because at some point the light turned on for me. Like, she's not disrespectful. She's just X, whatever that flavor may be. And so she can't be who I am. Like you said, what I am, I'm spicy. This is what you're going to get at all times. But everyone is not that. Everyone can't deal with that. And so it's understanding who you have on your team. When we do that training with Flavor, we talk about take what you have and create what you want. Because you can't change your people, so you have to change your people. And that is all contingent upon who and what you are as a leader. At the end of the day, you are the common denominator.
You making it hard for me to move on to this to the rest of these questions, man, because I just wrote something else you said. You said, own who you are. Whew! Y'all, a fam out there. The Colorado game ain't till 3:30, Coach Prime. So y'all good, man. Just let's hang for a while. Let's hang. Listen. I see you, Mark Abraham, Dr. Abraham in the building. Hold on. Mark, I don't know if you just tuned in, but I've been getting on a few people. So let me get on Mark Abraham, right? Like it's a lot of names popping up here that I don't see normally. They on here for Doc, right? So hey, Mark, what you do? What, you came on here because I got Dr. Chester in the building? Hey, Mark, I saw that schedule, man. I see what you're doing, brother. I see you. Right? So listen, hey, Doc, you said own who you are.
And what you are. Own who you are and what you are.
We could do the whole live stream on own who you are and what you are. Hey, somebody, have you taken ownership of you? You looking at somebody else and you trying to be them? Like, you got skill. You were born with it. You got talent. You were born with it. But you also have capacity and potential. You got to own who you are and grow who you are and maximize who you are. Instead, I'm looking at him, I'm looking at her. Man, I ain't got, no. You got you. Hey, Doc, let's stay here. You own who you are. You've been in this, and you've been doing your work for a while. I've been doing mine. But we got some young heads on here that we can't take stuff for granted. I want you to holler. Talk to somebody young that's on this ride, on this call right now. Well, yeah, on this ride too. About how, like own who you are. That makes sense. But what I got to do with all this, I got all these competing interests in my life. I got all these distractions in my life. I got all this mess in my life. I got all this stuff going on in my life. And it's impacting like who I see in my mirror adversely. Talk to me about taking ownership of who I am and what I am. How do I do that when I'm dealing with all these competing the distractions in my world?
And you have to think about, again, who and what you are. First, you have to be honest about that. I let everyone know, like you said, I am passionate, this fire. So everyone knows I have a very strong, unique, loud voice. And people love it when they're on the, let's say you're like me and you are talking, and I'm talking to you, Principal Kafele, and we're having conversations, but I'm defending you to someone else. right? You're all for that because they know Doc bringing that fire. Oh, she gonna straighten them if they talk about Principal Kafele. But I tell people, just like you love when I'm giving it to somebody else for your behalf, love when I give it to you for your behalf. And so understanding again just who you are and being completely honest about who and what you are. And again, I said something else. I said, I'm true to my purpose. I know what God put me here for. God put me here to serve. He put me here to serve because to whom much is given, much is required. Yeah. I had, and we'll talk about a hellacious journey, but I ended up on top. And so it would be disrespectful to my ancestors and to the highest one to not take everything that he has allowed me to come through and overcome and not give that back and pour that back. I think a lot of times people are not honest about the fact that they are me-centric. They are egocentric. We live in a very egocentric world. And like you said, people are always about me, 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 me. But understanding who you are is so that you can impact others. As Muhammad Ali said, our rent here for our time on this earth is service. And so you just have to understand that you are not here just to benefit you. You're here to impact others. And so when those distractions and all these things are coming, if you understand who and what you are, and you understand your purpose, your mindset, can't nobody mess with it. They can't penetrate your mindset. Like, the white noise, the chatter, and Principal Kafele, I go through a lot with different spaces and places. And as you stated, like with the Rock Conference, y'all was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't do it. I was like, no, we doing it. We in Florida with the governor. If it's just 12 people there, they gonna know we had the Rock Conference and we're not backing down. Yeah. Right? That's just how I am.
That's it. Hey, y'all, own who you are and what you are. I'm not going to be nobody else. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to feel, I'll use this word, damn good about being me, right? Hopefully none of y'all have your children listening right now, right? But that's the last word I'll use like that for the rest of the day. Hey, Doc, you have you've got a particular interest in the education of you have an interest in the education of children, K-12, but deeper still, you've got a particular interest in the education of Black children, and hence Black Educators Rock. My question then, why are you so passionate about children in general, but Black children in particular, as it relates to their education?
Great question, because one, again, owning who and what I am a Black child. I grew up in Black neighborhoods. I went to Black schools. I know the plight of my Black people. And I know that, the one thing about us, we tend to look for everyone else to come in and be that saving grace and provide resources and do these things. And if we understand that we all we got, but we're all we need, we can change the trajectory of what has been happening in education. And so for me, I'm a Black person, so I first have to be worried about me. Like I posted the other day, I can't worry about somebody else's grass until my grass green. If my children aren't doing well, how can I be worried about others' children? You have to take care of you before you can take care of others. And so I am a Black woman. I was a Black child. And so I know some plights of Black children because I traversed that journey. And so I know what I did not have. And so my passion, again, is about making sure that those children who look like me have what I did not have.
I feel the same way. I have an interest in children, but I have this particular interest in Black children because I was born Black. And when I became a teacher in 1988 in Brooklyn, Crown Heights, New York City, it was in a school. It was a Black school. And that's what I stayed with throughout my career. My last school was Black and Latino, so Black and brown. And once again, I can identify with all of the children there, and they identify with me. So that, that's where and the world knows that about me. Anybody that keeps up with me knows Principal Kafele knows that that's where it is with me. I'm of the belief, and let's talk about this for a minute. I'm of the belief that when Black children are around the right people with the right energy that believe in their success, the probability for their success increases exponentially. Talk to us just in terms of your thoughts about how we ensure that Black children have the right people with the right energy in their midst.
That is oh gosh, that's a loaded question. And so again,
And run with it.
some of us aren't the right people, right? Some of us that we have to, again, when you're owning who and what you are, like, and you talk about it, because I watch your show, you talk about, listen, education is not for the weak.
Right.
This is for the called, right?
That's right.
This is for the called, and only the called should be in these spaces. And when it comes to that, again, you have to be honest who and what you are. And so I just think that, again, I know for a fact that we have all the resources, all the tools within our grasp. But I think what happens is that we start adopting a very Eurocentric mindset, and we start thinking that everyone else and everything else can fix our issues. And you guys know, Coach Carlos, one of my other brothers of BER, you guys know I'm always like, the village has it. You know, we were raised on it takes a village. And as we talked about at the Rock Conference, we got to expand the village. You know, because of technology, because of where we are in these spaces, we have to expand our villages. Our village may not be within our school. Our village may be within our state. It may be multi-state. It may be international. Queen Jacqueline, it just, we have to understand that everything that we need, we have either within us or within our grasp. And I think that we as Black people, we operate in a space, I talk about this all the time, of reactiveness. We react. We're not proactive. And so we're always reacting to things. Now, we're great at putting out fires. We're great at dealing with trauma. But we're never, ever being proactive and making sure that we're not even having to deal with these issues. How do we be proactive is, again, expanding the village and understanding that the village does not just exist in my school, but exists within my diaspora. And everything that I need is within that.
The village doesn't only exist within my school, but my diaspora. Man, powerful words. I'm multitasking, listening to you, listening to the comments, and paying attention to my questions and all that. You know how that is, because you understand a whole lot. Great stuff, great stuff, great stuff. You know, let's keep moving. You know, on the call right now, Doc, we got aspiring administrators. We have assistant principals. We have principals, but we also have folks who are not at the building level, but central office and all the way up to superintendent. You know, people that tune in, check in every week, or watch the videos when they're available to watch them. So my message, my question to you is this: what is your message to these leaders in terms of what they can do right now, going back to school on Monday, toward ensuring that Black children are receiving a world-class education in their respective schools under their leadership? So I said a lot. Let me condense that. In terms of where you are now, your positioning as an educator, what would you say to this audience? And many of them, a lot of folks who tune in, it's a younger audience, right? New principals, APs, etc. What would you say to them about their role going back to the school, ensuring that Black children are receiving a world-class education under, and this is what's key, under their leadership?
I need for them to check their mindset again and understand that they are the common denominator. You have to first know who and what you are. You know, if you're going back into that classroom, are you the person that talks about the problems only? Or are you the person who talks about the problems with solutions? Right? You know, and because I'm Black Educators Rock, and guys, we have 150,000 Black educators in that Facebook group. I have seen and heard it all. And it has been disheartening at times. I have kicked people out of the group like, hey, you cannot teach my children. And Black children are my children. It's not just my biological children. So I would not want you teaching my children. I don't want you putting that type of energy in this atmosphere. And so we have to understand that what we say out of our mouths is powerful. And so if you're someone who's always affirming negativity, right? So I have these 5 platforms of success: mindset, affirmations, expectations, daily habits, and staying in position to win, right?
Can
My mindset, I'm good.
give us those again?
Mindset, affirmations, expectations, daily habits, and staying in position to win. So mindset, so a man thinketh, so is he or she. You know, we know that there have been instances where people, literally women who are not pregnant, can believe they are pregnant, Principal Kafele, and start to lactate, start to produce milk from their breast. That's how powerful the mind is.
Wow.
If you don't understand that that is the most powerful muscle you have in your body, baby, you losing. You lost the fight. You lost the battle, right? And so to your point, my dad died this morning. My mother is suffering from major depression, has been since 2016. Full disclosure, I mean, life is lifing right now for me. I just recently had a major surgery back in mid-August. I don't let none of that keep me down. Because again, at the end of the day, I know who and what I am. I know who created me. I know I'm destined for greatness. I know these things. So my mindset, you can't mess with my mindset. White noise don't bother me. And see, so many people get into comparing and contrasting themselves with other people. I stay in my lane. My lane, I'm not trying to be nobody but Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. My affirmations, I had to learn how to change. I realized that I spoke negativity all the time. I had to change that. So I don't just affirm out in the atmosphere just negative things. If I say something negative, it's going to be followed with a positive affirmation, right? Because sometimes it's the truth. It's negative, but it's the truth. And so I may say something like, you know, these agents of mine, they are not producing. But you know what? With me as their broker and me giving them training, they will be producing. They will be. This time next year, I'll have all of them producing. I'm cognizant of what I affirm. And that's positive affirmations, putting it in the atmosphere. Expectations. You know, it's a lot of people, they talk the talk, right? They affirm it, but they don't really believe it. I say mind, heart, and mouth. Expectation is your heart. What do you really believe? If you show me what you do, I know what you really believe. I know what your expectations are, which goes into daily habits. Someone's daily habits tell me what they truly believe. Just because you may say, oh, I know I'm a great teacher. I know I'm a great principal. I know I'm a great assistant principal. Like, you can be speaking that, you can be talking that talk, but you're not walking that walk because it's evident in your daily habits. Your daily habits tell me everything about you. If you want to know something about somebody, all you have to do is look at their daily habits. I know who you are and what you are by watching your daily habits and staying in position to win. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. For me, that's the sharpening of the axe. You know, that's to me learning, educating yourself. People are like, you do so much, because I'm an avid learner. Like, I sharpen my axe. I tell people your axe can never be too sharp. You know, there's this quote that they say Abraham Lincoln said, if given a task to chop, given 8 hours to chop down a tree, I will take 6 sharpening my axe. Sharpening my axe is preparing, learning, gleaning. These things help you to be proactive. If you know the issues you're going to be facing in your classroom coming into the school year, you know it. What are you doing to combat it before you get in the classroom? If you know what you're going to be facing when you get to the district level, why are you waiting to be reactive and not proactive?
Woo, woo. Go ahead.
Something not jiving. That mindset, expectation, mindset, affirmation, expectation, daily habits, staying in position to win. Something ain't right. A lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
Powerful stuff. You know, Doc, before I even respond, I got to put this up here. And you know, this is the young lady. This is one of my former students. And she's been rocking with you since you came on here. I'm having a brief moment. I'm not going to tear up like I do sometimes, but it's like you're in a school as a principal for 4 years at the high school level, and you watch a youngster go from 9 to 12, and then they graduate, and you don't see them like you used to see them. But I'm reading. She and I have been in touch since she graduated. But reading her comments and seeing what's Adriana, reading your comments and seeing what you're trying to accomplish, and me being locked into all of your comments and respond in the way you're responding to Dr. Chester, that's moving me, right? Because hear me, somebody out there, when the former student sees fit to stay connected to you because they feel you had something to offer back when they were a youngster, and now to be on this platform, and it's not our first time here, to be on this platform and for my guest, who's a personal friend, to be resonating. See, that's like that delayed gratification, delayed fulfillment of the work you did when you were doing it. So and the reason I'm even going through this is because it ties into everything you just said, Doc. You used when you were talking about you're saying this and that, but what's the evidence? See, that's what this is. See, Adriana being here right now, that's my evidence. See, so hey, leader out there, as Doc just said, what's your evidence? You talking a good game, but what's your evidence? What's the proof of what you articulate? And that matters. See, that matters. So you got to have that evidence. Man, I'm glad you said everything you just said, Doc. That's powerful stuff. Hey, y'all, hit that repost, hit that retweet, hit that share, hit that like button. Like to manipulate them algorithms, man. It's I see stuff pop up in my notifications because I watched something one time and now everything associated with that just keeps coming. I'm like, I don't want to know this stuff. I just happened to watch a video one day, right? So make sure you hit that because that's how we get other people to know that great things are happening at 10:55 on Saturday mornings on this AP and New Principals Academy. You know, Doc, you were once a student in school. You had principals and you had assistant principals. There were teachers in the classroom who aspired to be principals, but you may not have known that. They may not have shared that, but they best believe they were sitting in those rooms wanting to be in the shoes of a principal or AP one day. Here you are. You've got this invaluable skill set, this invaluable knowledge base, where although you weren't a principal, you do train principals with information that they can implement tomorrow, right? That's what you do. So thinking about the audience that watches this platform, I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you to do something, actually. If you had the opportunity as not young Melissa Nolan, but as Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester, to have a conversation with a principal, a AP, that could have been better when you were in school, what would you say to them today based on what you know now?
Don't allow my external, which is, how I dress, how I may talk, how it may appear that I am, to influence who and what you are and what you claim that your purpose is. Because if you're in this building, you claim that your purpose is to educate and impact children. And so don't allow me and what I bring to it to affect what you claim you are, who you are, what you are, why you're here. Because if that's the truth, then you would have dealt with me differently. To your point, Principal Kafele, my story is not pretty. It's an ugly one. And people, I tell it when I go talk to young kids and I go talk to elementary, middle, and high school, and people are amazed at the things that I traverse through the education system. And so I would just tell them to, again, walk in your purpose. And so that means if I'm F you, B, if you truly are there for me, you wouldn't take offense to that. Again, you talking the talk, are you walking the walk? Because children are going to try you. Because as coach, as we always talk about me, you, Dr. MJ, kids don't care about what you know until they care about how much you care. And so a lot of times they're testing you. You talking, I hear you talking, Dr. such and such, Principal such and such, Mr. such and such. But y'all, some of us grew up in them times where you can say one thing and we listen, but your actions were not the same. These kids believe in, baby, you talking, but that you not walking. You talking about you love the kids, but ain't nothing you do show that you love kids. And so they're shutting down and they're being even more difficult to deal with you. And so I would just tell you to, like, hey, if that's truly why you're here, you don't just get to do that for the good kids. You don't just get to do it for the easy kids. You just don't just get to do it for the respectful kids. You would do it for all children. Wow. As an elementary student, I went to a white elementary school and there were only 2 black teachers in the entire school. And I remember them to this day, Mr. Williams and Mrs. Wright, 2 African Americans. They both taught 6th grade. She was about 6'4". She was a big, beautiful black woman. He was about 6, and they were the paddlers in school, y'all. That's when they could paddle us in school. And I was always smart, but I grew up in the projects and I was starting to go down the wrong way. And I remember I was walking down the hall with some girls and we was cussing and we was, and she tapped me on my shoulder. She called me in that classroom. She wasn't my teacher. And she said, hey, come here. She said, you are not like the rest of these young ladies. She was the first person to ever speak life into me. She had a whole conversation with me. And from this one interaction with this one lady, my trajectory was changed.
Wow.
And she wasn't my teacher. I just respected her because she was the only black lady in the building.
And everything you're saying, because people, to the folks out there and the fam out there, I got a topic on here and I haven't even gotten to it yet. I will. We quasi did, but I'm going to go direct with it and just give me like 5 minutes. But you spoke right to it. Don't allow my truth to reduce your expectations of me, right? Now, I got another former student on here, man. Let me put him up here, man. This Dewan Conclusion Mars, Dewan Mars. Let me read what he said. He said, "This is very powerful. My first time tuning in for this long. I am no aspiring or AP, but a born leader. Being who I am has made me different and more valuable. Principal Kafele and Doc, thank you for the gems. Somebody's listening. Just keep talking. Thank you, man." Hey, Dewan, I almost probably need to get you on here one day, right? Because and he's young, bro. I don't know if you 30 yet, right? But he's got his master's already. He's doing big things, and good to see you, Dewan. And I'm gonna say it again, man. When the former and he didn't say this his first time. He said this is the longest he's tuned in, right? So when the former students check in, man, y'all making my day, man. Y'all making my day. I appreciate you. Hey, Doc, Dewan made me lose my train of thought. Here we go. The word relationships. I want to jump into that whole topic, but before I get there, I want to go with this word relationships. And the word relationships, it's cliche. We all talk relationships matter, relationships first. It's cliche, but the bottom line is it's real. Like, they really do matter, even though people use them almost as if they're, these little cliches. So here you are, a real estate broker, right? And you sell property. You sell homes. And that there is no selling. And we never had this conversation, but I'm assuming that we're on the same page. There is no selling without a relationship first, right? And see, some folks think they could just sell a product because it's a good product, it looks good, it's affordable, all that kind of stuff. But I always say the top salesperson in the showroom, auto salesperson in the showroom, is the one that forges relationships first and then attempts to sell a car, right? But it's the relationship. So I want you to talk to us leaders out here in the school world, school leadership world. Talk to us about the significance of relationships in schools between leadership and children and leadership and staff.
Like you said, and I put it in the chat, but relationships, but they have to be real relationships, right? A lot of y'all got relationships, but they not real. Them issues not real. They're very platonic. They're very based on optics. So like I recently did a training, like I said, I did a training up in Baltimore with and this African-American woman, Madam C. Renee, it's for NARAB, for the real estate side. So she just hired a whole new staff. She hired 12 people. Principal Kafele, it's all Black women, different ages. And so already the dynamics, they were having some conflict. And so we came in and we had to deal with that. And so we talked about the fact that I don't want you just sitting here, yeah, everything okay. But in actuality, you burning up inside, your chest is burning. It has to be about real relationships, and real relationships, again, take people first being real about them. Again, I'm the common denominator. If I'm coming into spaces and every space I go into, there's conflict. But I'm always leaving the space saying, yeah, that school didn't work out. Yeah, those teachers over there. Yeah, that just wasn't a good fit. Who are you to have a real relationship? A person has to be honest about who they are. They have to be able to effectively communicate. People communicate, but not effectively, right? We always talk about communication, but what is effective communication? And so, I do this in the training when I do the flavor training. We talk about scoreboards. We don't understand that we have relationship scoreboards, and a lot of times our communication scoreboards, we're communicating to win. So I communicate with you because I want to prove my point, right? Every time we come into a situation to talk, each of us have our own viewpoints, and we're coming into this to change another person's viewpoint. That's how we all enter into communication, right? To make somebody believe what I'm saying is correct. And so we have these little invisible scoreboards, and when we start to communicate, what happens is we're not listening. Listen spells silent, because you'll shut your mouth. You're listening to respond as opposed to listening to understand. Yeah. Seek first to understand, then be understood.
Yeah.
And so I would tell them again to make sure first that you have effective communication. Understand that effective communication is difficult because it takes people being completely honest, and again, removing self out of it, egocentricity. Stop making this about you winning and you being right. And they need to understand your point of view. Again, if we all are in this building for the same reason, which is to impact children and to change their trajectories, then damn, wouldn't some of us give in sometimes? Wouldn't some of us just change our perspective? Because you know what? We see evidence that this does work, although it wasn't my idea. It does work.
It does work.
Oh man, it wasn't my idea. Or am I going to still be out there causing conflict between my coworkers, talking about how this and that, and talking about, yeah, she making us do this, but and it's always so much that has nothing to do with children.
Yeah.
That is impacting that building. And so once we understand, again, real relationships first start with me being real with me and then being real with everyone else. It's going to lead to effective communication, because I'm not communicating to win. I'm communicating to understand, right? Communicate unto others as they would have you to communicate unto them. When I understand that people are different, I talk about this all the time. But one of my least favorite comments for people to make is, if I was you. If I was you, you could never be me. You don't have my lived experiences. You don't have my lens. You don't see life through my lens. Yeah. So if you tell me if I was you, that lets me know you're not listening to me.
Right.
And so it's just really about, again, real relationships start with effective communication, being honest about who and what you are, and making sure, again, you're true to what the purpose is, the purpose of this building. And so I would challenge every leader to start their year off. Hey, let's write down what's your purpose. Why are you here? Again, and make them hang it up somewhere. Because what you said you was here for, again, like Marcus Jackson always says, Dr. MJ, where are the receipts?
Receipts. That's right. And what you said, it made me think about, that whole, if I were you. that star athlete or entertainer, this got all this money and they squander it, right? Or they live foul and they lose it, right? There's no more contracts. And a lot of times was, man, if that was me, now you don't know who you'd be if you don't have it. Right. So we don't know what was the motivation, the incentive for the person to behave the way the person behaved, because the person came from perhaps nothing. And now all of a sudden I've got multi-million-dollar bank accounts. Right. So I can't relate to that because I've never experienced that. So I can't say if it was me, I would have done this and that, because I ain't never lived it. I don't know what it is to have that kind of money. Right.
Exactly. Principal Kafele, here it is. If that was me, well, you grew up in a 2-parent home and your parents had great jobs.
Yeah.
His mama had him at 16.
Yeah.
It's not you. It could never be you. And so it's just, and that's one thing, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me when somebody say, oh, if that was me, if I were you, you're not listening to me.
Yep.
You're not listening to me.
That's it. That's it. And you know, it's interesting as you say that, and my mind just kind of drifted for a hot second on something. I mentioned this game later. So Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, his sons, although they're well known now, and they're playing under his leadership, his sons will never be him, never, because they're born into a wealth that he was not. And as much as they look up to their father, which is very evident, but they will never be him. They all they can be is themselves, but they can't be their father. That's a whole different argument there, right? But just I'm just highlighting that in terms of once again owning who you are. That's all you could be.
And being good with that, though. If you're not good with it, it's going to be evidence again in who you are in the building, who you are at the district level. Again, when I have people do an activity where, you ask them certain questions, you have them respond. But then if I ask your coworkers or your supervisor the same question, is that what I'm going to get from them? When you talk to people about Dr. Chester, they're going to say, oh, Dr. Chester, she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
Listen, she going to get it done. She don't leave no task unturned. Oh, she care about the language is going to be the same as my language, because I'm true to me. I know I can be a firecracker. I'm honest about that. But you also know if you got me, you got me. The task will be completed, and it will be completed with excellence.
Let's transition. Don't allow my truth to reduce your expectations of me. Doc, your story is profound. I didn't incorporate all of it because there's so much there, but you can talk about as much as you want. But I want to start off by reading a passage from your story. Born to a 17-year-old single mother, experienced numerous traumas in my life, 2 near-death experiences, saw someone die on my playground, and molestation, all before the age of 10. Although my story is not the worst, there are people who have similar experiences, but their outcomes may be different. I think this is an insight into mindset, which I've always been cognizant of, even as a little girl. In your bio, I shared numerous accomplishments, and the method to my madness was to highlight all of that first and then to go backwards, right? So I shared all these accomplishments. I decided to read the whole thing, right? So you stressed this word mindset, and you indicated that you've always been cognizant of it since you were a little girl at the age of 10. So I got a multi-layered question here, and I want to start with this word mindset. What are you saying when you say mindset? Because the word mindset means so many different things to so many people, to so many different people. So what are you saying when you say mindset, and what was the significance of mindset given your experiences as a little girl?
Great question. So, like you said, what was mindset? I understood, and I don't know why. It was always an innate trait for me, but I understood just because I lived in the projects And my mom was a high school dropout, and she had me at 17. My dad was in and out because he was married to a woman that had 7 children. So I had 7 stepsisters. So I would go over there sometimes, even though he wasn't in my life. Like, I always understood that even though I was living in Soul City Projects, I was not Soul City Projects, right? I don't know. Like, I always knew that I did not want to be my mother. My mother was a maid. She cleaned hotels until she couldn't. That was her job. My father dropped out in elementary school. He cut yards, and did trees, never ever a formalized business, but just like a side hustle. And I'm the oldest of 3 girls on my mom's side. My dad has an older daughter and a younger daughter, but they're not from my mom. So it's all girls on my dad's biological children. But I always just knew that I was meant to be and do more. And so, and I always tell people, I always knew there were 2 things that were going to get me there at an early age: education and or sport. Like, that's why my PhD is in sport management. Education and sport for me as a child were always the 2 things that, no matter how poor you were, no matter what your background was, these were 2 things that were innate. They were based on who I was. It didn't matter if you were rich and I was poor. I could still get an A in the class and be the top student. It didn't matter that you were rich and I was poor. I could still be the top basketball player on the team or the fastest track runner. And so I honestly, Principal Kafele, I always just say that's something that God breathed into me, because my sisters aren't that way. Of my mother's 3 children, one is 18 months younger than me. Totally different outcomes. My other sister is 7 years younger than me. Totally different outcomes. Neither one of them have a college degree. My one right up under me, she didn't finish high school. And she had me as a model. I literally used to be like, you can do everything I do and just follow me. We're 18 months apart. And so I always knew that it was mindset. And it goes to another training that you heard that I do, poverty mindset. So flavor is about personality and effective communication. And poverty mindset is just what I'm talking about now. People don't understand that mindset. You can have a poverty mindset, or you can have a deficit mindset or a growth mindset. And poverty mindset is what runs rampant, not just in the Black community, but all communities. It doesn't matter about your socioeconomic background. That's when we see people who are rich. We're like, how could Robin Williams, he's a million, how can he take his life? It's mindset. There's a poverty mindset that exists there. And so we just have to understand, again, how powerful this mind is, and the self-talks that we have within ourselves. What do we say quietly and what do we say out loud? Because those things, again, are evident in what we believe, which is our mindset, which is our attitude. I just never believed that I was going to be Soul City. I just never believed I was going to be my mom. I never believed that. I always knew I was going to do more. And I would be getting bullied in school, getting picked on, because we live in the projects, and we all know. And that's something that I don't understand about educators. Like, this ain't, y'all be acting like this stuff new. The game don't change, the players do. We grew up in the projects, and we know that growing up in the projects, kids come to school dressed to the nines, because that's the only way that parents can kind of feel good about their situations, is to have their children in Nike and whatever name brand. Well, my mama didn't do that. We shopped in thrift stores and side stores. And so I was always picked on. And I remember being picked on by a boy that was much older than me, Principal Kafele, and getting on the school bus. And they were like, look at Melissa with them pro wings on. Her mama can't even afford Nikes. And I was like, boy, but you can't read. And like, I put out a book like, hey, read this paragraph, whatever. And that was always just my mindset. I didn't fold into that. I didn't go. It was just my mindset. And so it is something that we definitely have to understand its power. And I don't think most of us do. A lot of you all work in the school systems with a poverty mindset. Oh, I got 80% free and reduced lunch kids. Y'all don't understand what it's like to be in a school like this. Yes, we do. But again, they got you.
Yeah.
What is the but? Oh, but I'm over here now. And where is that language? Where is that mindset?
Wow. With everything you said, people think it's something new. And there was a legendary activist here in this area, New Jersey, the Newark area, but beyond Newark, and his name was Street Doctor. In fact, he was on with Fatine and Open Line all the time, and his expression was different circus, same circus, different clowns, right? Same circus, different clowns, right? When he was just talking about those forces out there that keep Black people oppressed. And when you said that it's nothing new, same stuff, right? It just made me think of Street. God bless, his soul. He passed about a year ago. But and his story is amazing. Maybe at some point I need to bring on somebody to talk about it, because he's a bank robber. And then he went to prison, did all this reading, and became this probably most well-known activist in New Jersey. Yeah. So anyway, let's keep it moving. So mindset. How did mindset as young Melissa transfer to older Melissa, who became Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester? How did that mindset transition to your adult life now?
Oh, that's a great question. Again, I think what the biggest thing in that mindset is that, like I said, you mentioned it briefly, like I did. I got hit by a car when I was in first grade, near-death experience. And let me say, the only reason that I lived, Principal Kafele, was because I listened to my mother, right? I was a first grader. We walked to school. My mom told me it was, it's Florida. My mom had me wear this big old coat one day. Right. School had just started. I think it was like October, November-ish. It was October because I missed Thanksgiving and Christmas. So she was like, wear this coat. And I was like, Mama, it's not that coat. She's like, wear that damn coat. My mom was rough. I was like, okay. I have on this coat. Two girls and me, we walked back and forth from school. We're coming home from school. And, we knew the rule, look both ways before crossing the street. These two young ladies, they were like, I want to hold Melissa's hand. No, I want to hold Melissa. I said, I get in the middle so I can hold both of y'all hands. We look across the street, we walk into the road, and a car hits me. I'm in the middle. They go unscathed. He hits me. I'm stuck up under his car. He's driving. He don't stop. He keeps going, speeding. The only reason I come from under his car is because he hits a railroad track and it dislodges my body from up under his car. I'm knocked unconscious. I wake up, everybody's around me. They're like, you can't move. My leg is broken. I was in a body cast. I had pins. I had to spend all of the rest of the year in hospitals, and I had to learn how to walk again. So I missed first grade. Like I missed the entire first grade. And then a year after that, I almost drowned. A child pushed me in the pool. I couldn't swim. I'm at a community pool. I was just looking in the water and somebody pushed me. I don't know who to this day. And I'm going underwater, Principal Kafele. And I remember the third time I went down, I remember saying, I'm going to die today. Like, I remember I'm going to die, because I would come up, but I couldn't say it. I was like, help. There was a young girl holding on to these ropes, and she just happens to see me, and she pulls me to the ropes, and she saves my life. I get out of the pool. I don't say anything to anybody. I walk home. Nobody even knew that I almost drowned that day, but me and that girl. Wow. Me and her still to this day. I every day, every week, I'm like, hey, I love you. You saved my life. She's like, stop. And I'm like, girl, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing the great things I'm doing, because she's always just complimenting me on what I'm doing. And I'm like, without you, Lisa, I would not have been here. You saved my life. I grew up in Soul City. This guy lived upstairs from us, this couple. They were fighting. He was abusive. He used to beat her up. They were fighting this one day. I just remember her saying, I'm tired of this. And we heard all this noise. And he comes running downstairs bleeding profusely. He's bleeding. She stabbed him several times. He dies on our playground. Now, mind you, all of this has happened before I'm 10. Wow. There is no counselor. There is no mother talking to me saying, there's no daddy. There's no other family members. So I'm dealing with all of this and internalizing it all. I'm going through life with this mindset, right? But for whatever reason, these things, Principal Kafele, only fuel me to want to be and do more, right? So when I see these things happen and I'm going through life, and life is lifing as a child, I'm taking care of my two younger sisters because my mom is working, and she's like, hey, you got to take care of your sisters because I got to be to work. At no point was I ever like, woe is me. Oh, I'm the poor. I don't know. That was never my life. And so as I grow into a teenager, a young adult. Hell, I flunked out of college. I went on academic scholarship and flunked out because I got a 0.75 GPA. During the time that I was in my PhD program in my late 20s, early 30s, I got into a domestic violent relationship. So I'm going through all these things, Principal Kafele, but at no time do I just lay down. Because in my mind was always, I'm better than this. You, Doc, Melissa, you're better than this. When I flunked out of college, it took me 7 years to get my bachelor's.
Yeah.
I had to sit out and work at Subway. At no time did I think I wasn't coming back. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work at this Subway. I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna go back. And I went back and graduated cum laude with my bachelor's. Jumped right into a master's degree because I was like, you owe it to yourself to show that you are better than this. You better than this. I get the master's. And so young Melissa really can say to old Melissa, girl, you did that. You did not give up when it was easy too. You had all the excuses in the world. You could have used any of those situations to be the reason or to explain or the excuse to say why I'm now still living in these projects with 3 kids and 3 baby daddies. But it was really just my mindset that made me say, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna fall down 7, but I'm gonna get up 8. I'm just not staying down. And I don't think enough people believe in, again, who they are and what they are. I'm not who I am or what I am because of where I was born, who I was born to, who was or was not there. But I am who and what I am because, again, God, the Most High, He created me. I often say, we got a lot of people, Principal Kafele, they all into religion. Again, you can say one thing, but your life tells me if you truly believe what you say. And that's the reason why I don't get into religion. Because if you truly believe what you told me, Christians, as about God, your life would be different. You would be walking the walk and not just talk about how good God is every day.
If you really on that faith walk.
If you really own it, I'ma see it. Because I don't talk about God. You see God in me. You see that He has His hand on my life. And so when I speak about Him, people can say, yeah, boy, because I see God in her life. I'm not just talking. I'm not just a talker. I'm walking that walk. Yeah. And so for me, it's just always been that way.
I love it. I love it. So let's stay right there. Listen, young Melissa Noland. There are countless Melissa Nolans, male and female, in all 50 states and beyond. But all 50 states in America, they are walking into buildings every day, dealing with all sorts of challenges, the ones that were handed to them at birth and the ones that they received as they moved on through life. Well, they're walking into schools with these professionals who have this mindset that you've been talking about, that I'm this, I'm that, right? We're going to get this done at, at this level and all that kind of stuff, right? So because I'm a student in a school does not mean I'm going to be an open book while I'm there. It doesn't mean that I'm going to walk into school and tell you, teacher, tell you, leader, about all the things on my plate. I may not even share it with my friends, even my closest friends. It may be very private. This is my life, but it is challenging. It is overwhelming. It is, in too many cases, stifling my growth, my ambition, developing a sense of purpose and all that kind of thing. So this is a tough one, but let's jump on it. What do you say for these leaders watching when young Melissa walks into the building who has been molested, who has been hit by a car, right? Who is living in a difficult situation at growing up in the housing community where you grew up, all those kinds of things, and I don't know about it. That's what's key. I'm leader. I don't know these things about this youngster. All I see is that said youngster is not performing academically. All I see is that said youngster doesn't seem particularly happy. But I don't know the specificity. It's leaders on here to check in every week, Doc, because they want information. What do you say to this leader about connecting with the young Melissas of the world when I know nothing about the young Melissa that I see 180 days out of the year, but I don't know you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So for me, and that's probably, and honestly, guys, I thought I was going to be a K-12 educator, but the system, I think, pushed me out because of how passionate I am. Because my answer, I don't know if it's politically correct. For me, it was always telling my story, being open. Like that's the one thing. Like I taught on the collegiate level for 15 years. I'm still very close with many of my students because they if you look at like on Rate My Professor, is going to say the realest teacher I ever had, the realest professor. I told my story. I told him about being molested by my maternal uncle. I told him about things that happened in being in a domestic violent relationship. And that would make them come to me and tell me what was going on with them. Most leaders, most teachers are not going to be that open with students. They're not going to be like, if they have that background, or if they know people that have that background and say, hey, I have a friend that this happened to, and I'm helping her deal with this. Because again, it was just that one teacher, because I didn't have anybody in junior high, 7th through 9th, that poured in me. I went to a white high school, 10th through 12th. I didn't have anybody else. It was just Miss Wright, that one teacher, and we used to talk. She was it. She was all I had that told me, you are more than this. You are not Soul City. She was who I carried with me. And she shared some things with me. And that's what I carried with me through junior high school, 7th through 9th, and 10th through 12th. Because there was no other adult, teacher, administrator. I can honestly say that, like, I don't remember any of my junior high and high school teachers because I was just the student who was quiet that got their work done. But I was going through hell, y'all. I mean, I was a smart child. I went to college on the academic scholarship, but my life was hell.
Mary McLeod Bethune.
That's where I'm from. And that's the scholarship that I received, the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Scholarship. And so, but I had counterparts, Principal Kafele, who were going through, their own thing, but they were not responding the way I was. They were not attending school. They were cussing teachers out. We were all in the same projects, her mom may have been on crack in school, and the kids are picking her on the school bus. And so she's coming to school, she's responding differently than I am. And so it really is just understanding, like for me, it is when they know that you care and they understand that you care and you truly care about them, but you're also going to hold them to a standard. Because Ms. Wright say, I understand, Melissa, but I know who and what you are, and I'm going to be watching you. She said, and I'm going to be checking on you. And that one lady told me that she believed in who and what I was. And that, again, impacted my trajectory. She doesn't even know how much she impacted me.
Wow.
So I would say to stop competing with children. I noticed that about adults in the classrooms now. A lot of y'all go toe for toe with the kids. You're toe for toe with children. I got hell all in my whole environment, and then I come to school and my teacher, my whoever, they giving me hell too. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Let me just reiterate that. So I'm catching hell at home, and then I'm catching hell in school, and you want me to be fired up. It just doesn't work that way.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't
make no sense, Principal Kafele.
Yeah. At what point is it positive? I'm going to become the environment that I exist within. So we got to look at that. We got to look deeper into it. So along the same lines, then, Doc, there's young Melissas coming to school every day, and now I don't mean you, the young Melissas of the world who are coming to school every day amongst people, and in a lot of cases, based on data, they're coming to school to be led by individuals who are not products of the same environment.
Mm-hmm.
So youngsters living in his or her bubble, so to speak, which is on this side of the tracks, and then way down the highway on the other side of the tracks is this other bubble. So now when you look at Black children living in Black communities, And then you look at the racial composition of teachers, and in so many cases, they're not coming from that environment. They're coming from a very different environment. And now their introduction to Black people is through their Black children, their Black students, which says to me, then you don't know Black people. And
Right.
it's very easy now, because I'm in that environment for the first time in my life. See, teachers has seen this from a distance, television, the stadium, at the game, whatever, but not intimate familiarity. So now I'm in the school and I'm seeing something that is radically different from what I'm accustomed to. And it becomes very easy to now fall into this trap of low expectation because I don't understand what it is that I'm seeing. So my question to you, what are your thoughts on how we help a leader, a teacher, a whomever in the building to avoid the trap of low expectations, because the truth of the youngsters is radically different from my truth?
Ooh, that's a hard one, Principal Kafele. For me, if when I'm thinking about it, it has to be because I go still back to poverty mindset, who you are, what you are, and what is your purpose and what do you believe? Trying to think, did I ever have a white teacher? No, that just kind of made me feel like they were there for me. Like they made, they didn't try to, assume anything or judge anything. I can't say that I've ever had one that I can say that was just made me feel that way. And I think it truly is about us making sure that we're bringing awareness to, listen, just because you're experiencing this in your classroom doesn't mean this is the experience for all Black people. I've been in spaces. I went to Florida State, the perfect example. I went to Florida State for my doctorate. And athletes. I was in sport management. And so I was on an academic scholarship. And so part of my duties were to teach sport management classes, because we were getting our doctors, and I was one of the only few Blacks. And so I remember walking up to a group of white PhDers, we were all getting our doctorate together, and they were, and they were laughing. And I was like, what y'all laughing at? And they were like, oh, don't show her. And I was like, what? And one of them's like, oh, Melissa's cool. And they were laughing at one of the athletes had turned in an essay. Principal Kafele, this essay was atrocious. I mean, I still remember it to this day because it was that bad of how he was spelling and etc. And it was like, it asked him like a question. He said, I learned, LEARNT, DEM, DEM, fools, FOOS, don't, DONT, without the apostrophe, no, NO, NUTHIN, nothing, bout, BOUT, football. And this was a response from an undergraduate who was close to graduating on a test. Wow. And they were like laughing about it. And I remember them, sharing. And I was like, that's funny to you all? I said, so, because now, because I know what's in your head. Oh, these Black athletes, they all dumb, But these Black athletes went through kindergarten, through 12th grade, and here he is a senior at Florida State. So is it really him, or was it all of you all?
Yeah.
That allowed him to fail? And and that's what I said to them. And they all got kind of quiet. I was like, so y'all laughing at him? But what I'm doing is being disgusted with everybody that was in his life before he got to this space and place. Yes. And the sad part is you all are going to pass him because you want to see him play on Saturday.
Right.
And everybody's just quiet and they're just looking at me. And so understand the role that you play in this person's trajectory. And again, understanding that, again, we are not monolithic. And Black people, we do it. I tell people all the time, Principal Kafele, we'll go to a Black business. We'll support it because we want to be pro-Black, and we'll go, and then we'll have some not good service, or the food won't be good. See, that's why I don't frequent Black restaurants, because you'll put that experience on every Black owner in the diaspora. But you'll go to Chick-fil-A and all these other places, and they can mess up, somebody can mess up, but you'll be right back there giving them another chance. Mm-hmm. And so it's this, we have to understand that we have to be more, we as Black people have to speak more to what you're not going to do is generalize us. You're not going to put us all in the same basket. And we have to, if we're in those spaces, again, if you're in the district leadership, you're in these spaces, you got to say, hey, we bringing some training. We bringing some enlightenment so that you understand this. And as that leader, again, if my purpose is truly to be there, I'm going to be looking for resources so that I am more proactive than reactive with those types of environments and students that I'm dealing with. It really is about, again, sharpening your axe, staying in position to win. Yeah. If you want to win in those situations, you got to learn more about them.
Yeah, I love it. You know, we winding down. Hang in there with us, folks. We winding down. I got a couple more. You know, I want to read another passage from your story. You've actually talked about pretty much all of it, but I just want to read it to put it on the record. I was involved in the National Youth Sports Program at the age of 10, an Upward Bound program as a teenager. I feel both these programs were instrumental in contributing to my mindset. As a child growing up in the projects, I adopted the mindset that no matter where you came from or what you did or didn't have, there were two things. I want y'all to hear this. There were two things that could excel that you could excel in, regardless of being poor or living in the projects, etc. These two things were academics and sport. It is because of the Upward Bound program that I was able to not only go to college, but I obtained an academic scholarship, the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Scholarship. Great woman, by the way. I was accepted into several schools. I only applied to HBCUs, but my mother would only allow me to go as far as Tallahassee. So I attended Florida A&M University. I had many trials and tribulations. I had to sit out because I received a 0.75 GPA. Let me say that again. A 0.75 GPA my sophomore year. It took me 7 years to get my BS in secondary physical education. However, I worked my butt off and graduated with honors cum laude. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. I wasn't going to unpack all of that. And what happened was you wound up doing it, which was a good thing. I want you to give us this. Talk to the folks. Talk to the folks out there about identifying greatness within a child, because you were bringing greatness, right? It didn't like poof come upon you later on. It's in us. We bring it with us. It comes with us with birth, right? Of course, we grow and develop, but there's certain innate characteristics and traits that are just there. So talk to us about just identifying that greatness within a child that is lying dormant with so many of them and seemingly undetectable.
Ooh, that's a great one. I think, like you said, when we're dealing in these environments, and Michael McGrone talks a lot about it. Principal Michael McGrone talks a lot about it. Like, you know, we don't understand, like, the boys who are really leaders. Like, think about the guy who is leading the hell in your classroom. You know, the girl that's doing that. Those are leaders. They're able to influence others. Just think about if you were able to change them and how they would be able to change others in your classroom. And so I think sometimes that greatness, like you said, we only look for it in those students that are performing well academically or that are quiet in the classroom and they're obedient. But greatness is understanding the traits of a leader and understanding that, you know, when it comes to leadership, it is, hey, I'm my own person. You know, I walk to my own drum. I'm not influenced easily by others. I'm outspoken, even though that can be in the form of disrespect. But if they're outspoken, that's a form of leadership, because there are a lot of kids in there who are coming from those environments, and they're mice, they're quiet. But then you have that one, you know, he comes from a hellacious background, and they're bold and they're picking on other students and they're doing these things, they're causing fights. If you can influence them, you can influence most of the others in the classroom and in your school building. So it's understanding those traits of a leader and not necessarily the actions, right? And so, because, you know, you'll say, well, he's not a leader, but he is a leader. He has the whole classroom following behind him.
Yeah. Huh.
And making sure that you're speaking positivity into him, calling him off or her off to the side and having those conversations. I think I was speaking with someone the other day. I know Onay is talking to youth or young men, but we were saying the young ladies are getting just as bad.
Yeah.
Right? Call her to the side and talk to her about, Tanisha, I saw that you were in the classroom and having those you can do awesome things, giving her tasks, helping to identify those traits and building them up. I just think that, again, I don't know, we come to school and like you said, a lot of us have a lot of baggage as leaders, as classroom teachers. And I think a lot of time it spills over into our purpose.
Yeah.
It spills over into our purpose, and we're not able to focus on what if you're there for those children, you're able to persevere and push through some things.
Yeah. If you're there with them, if you're there for them. I love it. I got one more. And this is your baby. Flavor. FLAVA. A personality communication system which comprise an important part of your professional brand. Flavor. I'm not asking you to do the workshop. What I want you to do, what is flavor?
Flavor?
What is it and how could it benefit our leaders on the call today? And before you answer, I want to say to the folks who are on with us live, flavor, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to tell you it's a full day workshop, right? So I want you thinking right now, because I don't want this piece to get lost. I want you thinking right now that when you hear what this is, that Doc could come to your school, could come to your district, could come to your conference, your institute, whatever, and talk about this program called Flavor, this personality communication system. So I don't want you. So as a matter of fact, she's going to respond to the question, but Doc, how do they get in touch with you first?
So you get in touch with me, and I'll put my information in the chat as well. You can get in touch with me at, let's see, I'm on all Facebook, all social media platforms, y'all. I'm not good like Principal Kafele and the rest of them where all of their stuff is the same. Mine is all different. Like I'm at Dr. DST on Instagram, but then I'm Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester on Facebook. So I will put it in the chat because that's the best way. And I'll put my phone number there as well.
Put that in. And then while you're speaking, Dr. Sheikah Houston, if you're there still, put a couple of them contact information, because Doc be hooking me up sometimes. Put some of them contact informations on the chat while Doc is responding. So what is this thing called Flavor?
So our goal with Flavor is to flavorize districts. And so I got to give a shout out to Off School Grounds like Dr. Dennis McKeesey. We have been in New York doing this work with Flavor, and there are a lot of their schools and districts that we've come and brought this training to, and they have said that it has positively impacted their staff, right? Because what it is, it's about, again, it's take what you have, create what you want. If you can't change your people, you can't switch them out, then you got to change your people. We got to change the way they think. We got to change the way they're acting. We got to change the way they're communicating. So if you can't change your people, change your people. So Flavor is a personality assessment. It's just like the Myers-Briggs, DISC, all of these other colors that they have. However, this was created by an African-American man he's in HR. He didn't like the others because he felt they were kind of, you like me, I took the Myers-Briggs, but I can never remember what my Myers-Briggs is because you can't remember it. But this one is functional. FUN is functional, right? It's functional, but it's fun. They're just 4 flavors: spicy, salty, tangy, mild. Each of those flavors has a color, a symbol, a motto, and a descriptor. And you can kind of, once you get the training, it is about you. You learn a lot about you, and you're like, oh, that is me. Oh, I do that. But the training is other-centered, right? Communicate unto others as you would have them to communicate unto you, right? It's seek first to understand, then be understood. And so what it is about is assessing what your flavor is. Are you spicy, salty, tangy, mild? Learning what that is, but then understanding, oh, I'm spicy, but such and such is tangy. And tangy is into data and facts and questioning authority and proving the abstract. Spicy is big picture and spontaneity, and they're loud, and they're understanding those flavors and seeing those flavors at work. And what happens is you come in and we do these badges and you see your flavors. Like a lot of schools in New York, they walk around with their flavors every day to remind them of who they're talking to. Some of us are mild. Like Dr. Sheikah Houston, I know she's mild. She's mild, right? So when I'm talking to Dr. Sheikah Houston, I can't come to her with all this spice. I need to come to her with mild. Mild people are relationship centered. Spicy people are impulse centered. We're impulse driven, relationship driven, impulse driven. Salty people are structure driven. Tangy people, right? They're cognitively driven. So people are driven in certain ways and they respond certain ways. And when you understand those things, making sure you're having the right people doing the right tasks.
Mm.
A spicy person ain't got no business doing your data.
Wow.
I don't, because
Wow.
people say all the time, Doc, you do so much. I'm spicy. One characteristic of spicy is that we multitask. We all over the place. We like multiple things. That is how we thrive. And so if I were just doing one thing, I would be going crazy. That's how I'm able to be talking on the text with, I know you're like, she responding in the messenger and she liking posts and texting. That's a spicy flavor. A tangy person could not do that. That would drive them crazy. Understanding people that are into time restraints and you know, salty people like organization and structure. Spicy people are organized chaos, and just understanding who people are and how they show up to work every day. And so I saw some of my OSG people on, like Power, Principal Power, and Dr. Dennis. All of them know their flavors, and you know, it's a running joke. Oh, that's spicy. Oh, that's salty. Child, she just tangy, and it helps you to not take things so personally, because you start again, seek first to understand, then be understood. And it is a training that we can do a half day, 2 hour, like it's customizable. Like when we get into it, the deeper you want, the more you want to get into that conflict communication and conflict resolution, we do need about 4 hours or a full day. So we need a half a day or a full day to come in and do the personality assessment and give you that overall. We can do that in about 2 hours, but it is phenomenal. There are so many people that know their flavors because we also do it at the Rock Conference. And so they learn who they are and what they are. But I'm always available to come do that training at your school, as well as the poverty mindset. Poverty mindset is another that I do.
Poverty mindset and flavor. Doc is available. Come to your school, any state in the country or beyond the borders of the U.S. and talk poverty mindset, talk flavor, or talk about whatever topics that you feel that she could benefit.
And I talk to youth, of course. I come in, I do a powerful thing about telling my story, talk about, you know, I give them the 3 rules to live by, about not, let me say this, guys, y'all don't get to steal this, but when I talk to young people, I tell them don't live in a box, right? That's one, because I give them 3 takeaways, some rules after I give my story, and I talk to them and I tell them that don't live in a box. And I tell them that, you know, when you grow up in the projects, you know, there are nice things in the box, rims, jewelry, rap music, all this stuff is in the box. And what happens is, Principal Kafele, we get distracted by the box, but eventually they close the lid on that box, and that box becomes your coffin. We nail that box shut. So you have now lived and died in the box.
Becomes your coffin. Wow.
It becomes your coffin by living and die. You live and die in the box. Don't. I refuse to be in the box of Soul City Projects. I refused.
Does Soul City still exist?
It does. And a lot of my classmates are there and their children. You know, it's a generational thing. It does. It's still there.
You know, Mika S. Robinson is asking you, do you offer individual training?
I do. I do some leadership training. When you're trying to find who you are, what your purpose is, I do some leadership training on that aspect of just helping people trying to streamline their, again, success strategies. We got to delve into who you are. You, as a leader, you need to know who and what you are, what your purpose is, what are your goals in order to be able to implement those effectively.
So folks out there, you know, like Doc was saying, she's got all these different addresses, and I tell folks, use one with everything, right? But I'm Principal Kafele on everything except
everything.
and New Principals Academy, right? But I do have a Principal Kafele YouTube channel as well that y'all don't even know about, where I got about 225 videos where I'm just talking to the young people. But I ain't even tell y'all about that in 4 years. But it's sitting there. Just put Principal Kafele in and you'll see it. But for Doc, Facebook, Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. Doctor and Melissa is one word, by the way. Right, so doctor, don't put the period, don't put the space, just doc, the DR, and then MEL, etc. Melissa Nolan Chester, and you can inbox her, and then you give all the other contact information. Again, go ahead and let them know, and then we do these rapid fire questions real quick.
I'm ready.
Oh, here we go. I think Yeah. Tammy just gave it to us. So that's Facebook, y'all. Right? Is that I guess?
That's Facebook.
Yeah. So just hit her up that way. And matter of fact, Mark put the spaces in there, right? So and the dash, right? But it'll come up either way. Tammy's way, your way, Mark. Appreciate that, Mark. And it'll come up because I want y'all to take advantage. Poverty mindset flavor ain't no joke, y'all. All right, let's go to these rapid fire. As I say to every guest, Doc, one sentence or one word. If you find you putting a comma in there, and I'll put the phone number up there for you. If you feel a comma coming, stop yourself, right? Here we go. Is education on the right path for underserved children in America?
No, but it could be if we understood the power of collaboration.
Are you optimistic about the educational prospects for the masses of Black and brown students in America today?
Yes, because I am a member of Black Educators Rock, Off School Grounds, and some others who are doing great works. Sharif El-Mekki, if we figure out how to do it together, it's changed.
That's it. Yeah. Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black, brown, and other underserved students?
Yes, if we understand we are the answer that we are looking for.
Does Dr. Melissa Chester's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
Yes.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
I would strictly just be in the educational space. It will be somewhat different.
Now, you're the first person ever on this thing to say something different. That's interesting. Why do you continue to do this work?
Because I want children to experience me, and I want them to experience Dr. Jackson. And so having a space where we all can stay motivated and encouraged to keep doing this work that is hard is imperative for me.
What fires you up within the work that you do?
Each and every one of my rockers, Black Educators Rock members, and OSG family, just seeing those who are, despite what's going on in their own personal lives, what they're doing, and you guys keep going. You all, it's you.
What do you love about the work you do?
The powerful connections of educators, as well as seeing everyone like the Dr. Shikas and all of them just growing their craft and who they are and what they are.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
As O'Nay Chapman said on his post, that some of us are being gatekeepers and we shouldn't be. We need to be opening the doors and making sure that we all are collectively collaborating to answer a clarion call of educating our children.
Love it. What has been your greatest victory in your work thus far?
Coming out as Dr. Melissa Chester, mommy of Aiden Alexander, despite all of the traumas and tribulations and trials that I went through.
What has been your greatest mistake in the work you do?
Not being proactive, responding to life reactively.
What has been your greatest challenge thus far?
Getting people to understand how great they are and how much better we would be as a collective. There are too many phenomenal leaders, but for whatever reason, we're not one.
Who inspires you in your work?
Principal Kafele, the BER think tank team.
Yeah.
Many of y'all the name. The OSG family, Sharif El-Mekki, and those who go to school every day doing this work, even though you're not getting what you deserve.
What are you reading right now? Book, blog, article, tweet, anything?
Ooh, what am I reading? I'm trying to learn how to, so I've started downloading, because I'm an Audible girl, the books that you and Dr. Chika encourage us to read to learn more about our history. I feel like I'm not enough on our history. So all of those books, I'm categorizing those.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What book would you recommend for our viewers this afternoon?
Anything that has been written by Dr. Marcus Jackson, Principal Kafele, and if you're dealing with the youth, O'Nay Chapman.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet?
Changing the trajectory of education for our Black children.
Are you satisfied with where you are professionally now in real time?
Yes.
What could you say to a viewer out there who continues to face closed doors?
If they won't give you access to a door, open your own.
What could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
You are the common denominator. You have your own matches. Light your own fire. You're responsible for lighting your own fire.
Last question. If Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Ooh, that's a hard one. What would be my definition? I would say multifaceted.
Multifaceted. Man, this was powerful stuff. Let me say this to you. We say to the family that's watching, they see I got fam here, so they already know the deal. But fam, if you enjoyed it, if you found it useful, beneficial, if it resonated, then give us your favorite emojis and just flood up the chat with whatever those emojis are. And you already started. They've been coming since I started the rapid fire. But for those that didn't, let us know. That's the data. That's the feedback, so that we know if we're doing the right stuff here. My man, here's my man right here. Here's my brother. Dr. Vincent Stallings just gave all that fire, man. Yeah, so let us know, y'all. I see it coming. Oh, wow. Oh, there's a whole lot there. Yeah, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Let me get my emoji. Got my Louisville Slugger, man. Wearing some of y'all don't know what I'm wearing, man. I got this Harlem Globetrotters had a black had a Negro League baseball team, right? See, we think about them in basketball, but they had a baseball team that played exhibition games. So that's what I'm rocking today. So you hit a grand slam. In fact, you went to the plate 4 times, so you hit 4 grand slams, 16 runs batted in altogether, man. This was powerful stuff. Oh, man, I loved it. Powerful stuff. And I see y'all got them emojis still coming. They still coming. Hey, Doc, one more time. How can they reach you?
Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester on Facebook. You can email me at mncphd@icloud. I'm getting my solution to success email. Like, one of my colleagues was like, you got to get an email. I'm like, you're right. I got to stop this because I'm spicy. I have 1,000 emails, but it's going to be one in just a moment. So Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester at Facebook, mncphd@icloud.com, and or my phone number 904-707-2703.
Yeah, all right. So you getting ready to post that email, I think?
Yep.
As soon as it comes up, I'll put it up. I keep seeing people keep putting your Facebook on there. Did you post it?
I did.
Okay, here, I got it. Here we go. So there you go, folks. Reach out, bring that flavor to the building, to the conference, to the whatever. And she travels internationally. So if you want to bring her to Europe, bring her to Africa, bring her to Asia, wherever, bring her. Hey, Doc, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you blessing us all, myself included. We went we right at 2 hours.
You said it, you called it.
Yeah, man. That's what we do, man. You know, whatever it takes, man. We just trying to change the world. You know, so here we are. And Dawn Hayes, I saw you, man. Dawn Hayes is a member of the Newark Board of Education here in Newark, New Jersey. And she said, oh my God, we need this. So you know how to reach her, Dawn, right? And Dawn, you know, come on to Source of Knowledge tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
She said she knows she's spicy. She said her little spicy self. She knows she's spicy.
Yeah. Well, Dawn, come on to Newark to Source of Knowledge tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I'll be there with Mayor Raz Baraka. But it's Lauren Wells' program, Dr. Lauren Wells, Dr. Yvette Jackson. We're going to do a panel discussion around the themes of her book. So anybody out here in Newark, Newark, anyone out here in Jersey, New York City, Philadelphia, come on down to Newark at Source of Knowledge Bookstore. I don't have the address in front of me. I think it's 807 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey, but you can go to my Facebook page. Join us at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Don't worry about the football game. Come on with us. You can look at it on the sneak tip on your phone, but come on down with us at Source of Knowledge tomorrow, Sunday at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5. That's all we're going to be, 3 to 5, right? All right. Hey, Doc, any closing thoughts?
No, just my closing thoughts is, guys, when we understand who we are as a collective, guys, we got to get more proactive. We got to work together. When we do that, I mean, everything we need, curriculum, professional development, everything is within our own circles, and we just got to figure out how to make that network one. That's it.
Make it one. I love it. I love it. That's 867. Thank you, Dawn. That's 867 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey. And I see Valerie Macy wrote me the same thing. So come on down to Broad Street, the source of knowledge. As a matter of fact, while you're there, there's enough books there to fill your entire living room with, right? In terms of just your bookcase. So just come on the source of knowledge, get some books while you're there. And we're going to have a great discussion. Got the mayor in the building, man. Raz Baraka will be there. Hey, Doc, stay with me while I close out.
1 sec, though. Remember the Rock Conference. Thank you, Rakia, for reminding me. Mrs. Ashbury's World. July 18th through the 21st in Houston, Texas will be next year.
That's right. We might as well start promoting it now. July 18th through the 21st, Houston, Texas. Man, we going to a different location, right? So that's good. Be there with us July 18th through 21st, the Rock Conference. That's the Black Educators Rock Conference. There'll be so much more information coming your way about that. But for now, put it in your calendar. All right, Doc, stay with me even when I go off, right? Okay. All right, listen, y'all, next week, this week, appreciate you being here. Next week, week number 179, I got Denise Holliday in the building. You may know her. If you don't know her, she is the restorative practices, restorative circles guru in America. I'm just going to put it out there. She's the restorative practice. So after you hear this session, you won't need to suspend kids anymore. You won't need to put them in detention anymore. That's next Saturday. Denise Holliday, restorative practices and restorative circles guru, right? She co-founded, I don't have the name of the organization in front of me, but she has a whole organization. Next Saturday, Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock. This is all Facebook Live. Create and Educate with Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, 10:30. Myself, 10:55. Unlock the Middle, Josh Tovar, Dean Packard, Sunday night, 7 o'clock. And then Village Leadership Group with Dr. Roz Gaskins and her sister, Coach Williams, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6. The ASCD Conference, Leadership Summit, I should say. I'm the keynote, October 13, Grapevine, Texas. Come on and join me. The conference is from the 12th through the 15th. So take advantage of the whole conference. But you got to come to that keynote, man. And I'm going to have my Frankie Beverly and May shoes on, man. We are one. We're going to come out and dance, man. And then we get to that information. We get to that thunder. So come on and join me, man. Bring your sneakers so you could dance. I'm going to be two-stepping, but some of y'all, I'll be looking at y'all from them stages. Y'all be like getting down, right? I just ain't born with that gift, right? So I two-step it, and I'm feeling the funk no matter what. Let's see. I'm just going to show you one book, man. If you don't have it yet, what you waiting on? The Assistant Principal Identity. Get your hands on it, but put my name in the search engine, and you'll see the list of all the books that Amazon sells of mine. Visit theprincipalkafele.com for all my resources. Subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page, because the written commentary will be up tomorrow, not later than 10 o'clock. Man, I'm the hardest working man in show business, man. Because writing that commentary takes me a lot of time on a Sunday morning, but preparing for the Saturday session takes me an entire week. I ain't up here winging it. As Parliament Funkadelic would say, I ain't up here faking the funk, man. And if I did, my nose would grow. You would know I'm up here, playing games with you. So I take it seriously, in addition to all the speaking and all the traveling throughout the course of a week, right? And then lastly, like I keep saying, your diet, your exercise, your COVID precautions, right? And whatever other virals are out there, just take care of yourselves, folks, man. Because if you don't take care of you, then you're not in position to take care of your kids. And in your case, you're not there to take care of your staff that you lead. Don't forget that question, because that's my new question. I'm thinking strongly about writing a book by this title. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? I am thinking strongly about writing that book. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? right? The problem is I have a new book that's sitting on this computer that I haven't submitted the manuscript to my publisher yet. So I got a new book that I wrote this year, a few months ago, and I'm sitting on it right now, like a someone that writes music or someone that writes rhymes. They sit on some of that stuff forever. I'm sitting on a whole manuscript of about 40,000 words, right? So that's, but that's a little bit of my life. We'll see you, the people locally, again, we'll see you at Source of Knowledge tomorrow, 3 o'clock, celebrating Dr. Lauren Wells' new book, along and obviously picking it apart, dissecting it, along with Mayor Raz Baraka of Newark and Yvette Jackson, I should say the superstar scholar, Dr. Yvette Jackson, and I'll be moderating the panel discussion. So join us in Newark, 867 Broad Street in Newark. If you're from out of state, maybe it'll be recorded. I don't know. Or maybe you jump on a plane and join us here. Whatever. That's tomorrow. Other than that, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. 1, 2, 3. Bam! One day I'm going to punch this camera, and that's going to be crazy. I see y'all next week, man, but be safe. Some of y'all, I see you tomorrow, but be safe and be productive, and I will see you then.